But speaking of Triple H, uh, Triple H announced earlier this week that WWE will be bringing back War Games, the War Games match for this year's Survivor Series. It has been officially branded as Survivor Series War Games. Also, he's also bringing back the Fight Pit, which is a match that was done in NXT between Matt Riddle and Timothy Thatcher, I believe it was. And he's also bringing that back as well for Survivor Series. So, for those of you who are not aware, War Games is a 4-on-4 two cage, two ring match that was debuted during the WCW NWA era, and it was revitalized and used heavily during NXT. It was closely associated with the Undisputed Era, Johnny Gargano and Kevin Owens, as well as many, many others. But with Survivor Series War Games on the horizon, I want to know, number one, how you feel about this match returning. And number two, if you had to pick your men's and women's teams for Survivor Series War Games, who would you pick? Starting with the men's match and then getting to the women's match.
I definitely want to jack yours. So I think you should just say it because like there's no the team you chose, bro. There's no topping Jordan's team for both the men and the women. Like it makes way too much sense. So honestly, you tell them
But at first, I want to know how you feel about War Games returning before anything.
how I feel about it.
Yes.
Honestly, it should never have left. We only got what three or four war games. I think it was three, right?
I think it was.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was three. Yeah, it was three. Three War Games matches.
Like, why did you take that away? It was to me like my favorite NXT pay per view the entire year. It was
Mhm.
fun, it was chaotic, and there's so many ways you could paint this story because I mean, people come into the cage one by one. You know what I mean? Like that
Mhm.
whole turn with Dakota Kai, like that iconic. You know,
Iconic. Yeah.
how they use war games to elevate Rhea Ripley.
Oh yeah.
You know, Bianca too in that same cage, but how they elevated Rhea Ripley off of just war games alone, just freaking amazing. The matches that freaking Undisputed Era had in there, like I'm so pissed off that they left and this is coming back
Right.
because like the matches they could have had on the main roster would have been insane, insane. But I don't want to say what my teams are because I'm piggybacking off of you. So you tell them how you feel in your teams.
All right, so boom. I'm gonna start with how I feel. Number one, I know Adam Cole is punching air right now. Because this is their match. The Undisputed Era, like the War Games, is the match of the Undisputed Era. This is the match that made them. This is the match that put them on the map. That said we are a legit faction. It put them on the road to championships. It led them to legitimacy in WWE. And I think that it would have been great to see them in this match. Like you said, War Games has elevated so many superstars between Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, setting up the Dakota Kai Tegan Knox feud and her heel turn. Um, I think that Shayna Baszler, like it elevated her as well. Like there's so many superstars who went into that
Yeah.
match and into that event and they elevated. Now the one thing that I will say is that I purposely feel like WWE got rid of William Regal so that if Hunter were to bring this back, he wouldn't be able to be present for it because I really just need William Regal to say War Games. That's all I need. I
Right?
need William
My
Regal to
God.
say War Games.
Or
Um,
his son.
Exactly. Some Regal affiliate needs to say War Games. Now as far as my ideal teams, I'm gonna start off with the men. I was about to say niggas. I'm gonna start off with the men. Um, I think that it should be a 4-on-4 with the bloodline configuration of Roman Reigns, the Usos,
Yes.
and Solo Sokoa versus Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Johnny Gargano, and Tommaso Ciampa. My reasoning for that: number one, if it's a War Games match, no titles are defended. But because it's a War Games match, it's still important. It has implications. Kevin Owens has expressed that he wants championship gold. Sami Zayn has been in this really, really weird limbo period with the bloodline in the sense of like Jay liking him or Jay not liking him and everybody else liking him, and I smell a turn coming soon. So I essentially see Kevin Owens linking back up with Sami Zayn. I see Johnny Gargano being a part of that match because I feel like he's a debuting superstar and you need to put him in an environment where you know he can succeed so that you can make him a star on the main roster. I believe that War Games is the perfect place to do it. Plus, we've been seeing Gargano and Kevin Owens a lot lately as well, together in segments, matches, all of that. So I just think that that configuration makes sense. And then Tommaso Ciampa because I think that Champa or Miz is gonna. I feel like Miz is gonna turn on Champa, and that's just gonna lead to him, being in a spot where he links back up with Johnny. Because like, why not? Especially for War Games. So that is my men's teams. My women's teams. My first women's team would consist of Damage Control, and Jesus, I said Charlotte, but I think I changed the
Becky.
yes. So I think
You
actually
said
no no
Becky.
no. I think it was Damage Control and Charlotte, right? So Bailey, Charlotte,
Yeah.
Dakota, and Io versus the Holy Trinity of Bianca, Naomi, and Sasha, and Becky coming back to join that team. So, and here's my rationale for that. So, because at first I thought it was going to be Becky joining Damage Control, but here's what I realized: Becky got written off screen because Damage Control attacked her. So why would she join a team with Damage Control unless she wanted to eventually do some crazy turn, which I don't think is going to happen. I think that Becky being attacked was the death of big time Bex and the return of the man. I think that that version of Becky is going to come back, especially under Hunter. So I think that we're going to get Charlotte because why not, right? Charlotte and Damage Control. And then we're going to get Bianca. I think that Becky's going to join her side because she wants her lick back on Damage Control. I think that leading up to War Games, there's going to be periods of time where like they're outnumbered. How can the two of you beat the four of us? We're here and you're not. And na 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 na. And then who returns? Sasha Banks and Naomi. And I feel like that's the perfect way to bring Sasha and Naomi back. It puts them in a match with the most important people in the women's division. Bianca is the Raw Women's Champion. Bailey is the leader of the most dominant faction. Charlotte is Charlotte. It puts them in an
Charlotte.
environment where
Charlotte.
they, right, Charlotte is Charlotte. And they're going to be alongside Becky. So I think that I feel like if you want to position them, one, to get the tag team titles back, that's a good way to kind of introduce them back into that scene. And if they win, it's like, well, we have a win over Damage Control and Charlotte. So they can flip that and be like, we want to go after the Raw Women's title, or they can flip that and be like, we want to go after the tag team titles and get our belts back. Either way, I feel like these teams just make sense. They allow for the most creative flexibility. What were you gonna say?
I, I want to switch Charlotte for Shayna.
Mmm.
Yeah.
I
That
like
would
that
be
actually.
nasty.
I like
That would
that.
be nasty.
That would be
Because she was
That would
there
be
for the first one, I believe.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
the first women's War Games match she was a part of. So I
Yeah, but I
like
think her
that.
chemistry with Damage Control just makes sense because they already know each other. And I mean, she already has like this cocky bully character. I mean, I think that would actually go perfect with Bailey. I could see Bailey and Shayna just having a good interaction. And they're already familiar with each other from Survivor Series in 2019, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, late
It was
2019 they had a Survivor
the
Series
three
match.
brand Survivor Series when it was NXT, SmackDown, and Raw.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be kind of cool to reference. I'm just saying.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
See, I knew you were gonna have good teams, even though you didn't want to say it. That was that. I didn't even think about Shayna, and that was important. That was
It came to me, bro, when you said that she like War Games birth, like, people like, not birth Shayna. Shayna was already popping by then, but it let Shayna shine. I'm like, wait, yeah, why isn't she there? Because she has some of the dopest cage matches. Like, there's like a cage match that is really underrated between her and Io.
Mm-hmm.
That came to my mind immediately. It was a steel cage match on NXT that no
On
one talks
NXT.
about for some weird reason, but it's like my favorite Shayna match. I was just like, you know what? Shayna would probably go ham in a War Games match paired with Io on her side and Bailey and all of
Mm-hmm.
them. Like, it'd be pretty awesome considering right now she's um I think she's is she still fighting with Liv? I didn't watch this week. I'm
Who?
sorry. Is she still arguing with Liv? Is she still
Shane.
arguing with
I don't
Liv?
know if
Because
Shayna
if they
is, but
abandon that,
I think I don't know if Shayna and Liv are still a thing, but I think that Bailey is being positioned to possibly get the SmackDown Women's title. But we'll see with that.
yeah. So I'm
We
just
will see
saying
with
she
that.
ain't doing that and put her with them.
Put her with them. Yeah, that's a fact.
Like, hey, like they could recruit her because of the fact that, like, yo, we know you're a legitimate fighter and that you have a lot
Right.
to bring to the table. I fought you in a Survivor Series match. Io done took you on. I'm pretty sure, yeah, she has had beef with Dakota before. I think they could like take her in,
Right.
and make her part of the faction and like try to get her gold, and they could be like their own undisputed era team
That would be
with the
tough.
females.
And especially because the whole
I wish
like
they had a mid card title. Hmm?
a WWE
Sorry.
Women's Mid Card title. No, no, no. I was saying that number one, a
Yeah,
mid
they
card
had
title would
that.
be fire. But I was just saying, do you think that they would try to put her in a faction? Uh, Jesus, why is my brain farting? Oh yeah. Do you think that they would put her in a faction, considering that like her and Ronda have this weird dynamic, and like there may be a point in time where Ronda and Shayna link up? Yeah,
But what
right.
if they
I
end
was.
up in war games? How would that work?
What if? Right. What if? All right.
Where are you going with this?
I'm trying to think.
Where are you going with this? Don't tell me Ronda's gonna go in the cage.
I'm trying to think.
I bet not see Ronda in the fucking cage.
I don't think that Ronda's gonna be in the cage. I just think that the
Okay.
4-on-4 is gonna stand. If what if at Survivor Series War Games we got the original four, like the one that I originally proposed with Charlotte and Damage Control versus the other four, but we got Shayna versus Ronda. For I don't know. I don't know. I'm just spitting out
That's
stuff.
a Mania match.
It is very much a
That's a
Mania
Mania
match.
match.
That is very much a Mania
They could have
match. But
stipulations too because they know how to take a hit.
right. But I feel
You know.
like it would be I feel like I don't know, like it's just weird because I don't know if Ronda's a heel or a face right now. And it's very hard to gauge. Especially after that promo that Adam Pierce cut on Ronda. Because at first I was like, I don't know if you've seen it. I'll send it to you. But anyway, I don't
Called
know.
her a bitch or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
That's what I remember.
That man was spitting. Oh my god.